A few months ago, I went on a trip to our nation's capital with the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight. Around 75 veterans were on that flight, including a 106-year-old World War II veteran, Robert Holtz. It was quite a trip. I really got to see firsthand why these flights are so important for our veterans. And so, on this Veterans Day, we are taking a look back at that trip and the important work of the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight. Jim Swoboda and Derek Crum were also on that flight and are here with us. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Jim, I'm going to start with you. The man behind the camera, you're capturing those moments. You've been on a number of flights. Just talk about what you see and what it's like on those trips.
Well, obviously, we're working with some amazing individuals who served our country. And on this Veterans Day, we'd be remiss not to thank them for their service. But yeah, there are moments on every flight that'll never leave my mind. As I was sharing a little while ago, the moment a Vietnam veteran walks down to the wall looking for a name on the wall that he hasn't looked up yet, doesn't know where the name is. He's going down to find the book with the volunteer that carries the book. And he stops suddenly and he turns and the name is right there. And that moment in time, that name called out to him and, I mean, defies explanation.
So many emotional.
And it happens more often than we could recount today.
Derek, you were also on that trip with 106-year-old Robert Holtz.
Yes.
He did die in late August, but he was on that trip, and he said this was the best experience. And all the other veterans, I remember, they kept going by and they just wanted to hug him. They said, "You're my hero, Robert." What was that experience like for you and for Robert?
Wow, for me, very special. I wanted to do something special for Mr. Holt, and when I heard about the honor flight, I was just so excited about it, and I hoped that he would be excited as well. When I asked his wife, she initially said, "I don't think he'll want to go." I asked, "Can I ask him?" And so she allowed me to come and ask him, and as soon as I asked him, he said, "Sure, I'll go." And so I was really happy that he could make that trip. Now, the one thing that I would always ask him, you know, how is this making you feel? How do you feel right now? While we were on the trip, and he would always say, "It makes me feel like I'm somebody." And so that was really special for me. And just know that we were able to do something special for him before he transitioned meant the world to me.
He's really famous in his hometown there, you said.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
It was amazing to meet him, 106 years old. I mean,
Yes.
special.
Yeah.
Jim, these trips aren't cheap.
No.
Just talk about how much does it cost and what does it take to put on these trips?
Well, we figure there's about 1,500 to 1,600 volunteer hours on every flight. Every flight's somewhere in the $120,000, $130,000 range that we raise through various fundraisers. We have groups that are raising money for us across the state. We take donations on our website, midmichiganhonorflight.org. You can donate any amount you'd like. $1,000 will sponsor a veteran on his entire flight. So for $1,000, somebody can know they have the privilege of sponsoring a veteran to join us on a flight. We have 4 flights next year, and we're looking forward to every one of them having 75 to 80 veterans on board.
And it's a 2-day trip.
2-day trip, well, 1 night, 2 days. Yep, we fly in the night before. We go to Fort McHenry, spend the night. In the morning, we get up and see all the monuments and memorials to their honor in Washington, D.C., drive back to the airport and fly home that night. And it's either Grand Rapids, Flint, or Traverse City for Mid-Michigan.
What would you say, Jim? Because there are a lot of veterans I know, even on the trip, at first they're like, I was unsure about coming on this trip, you know. If someone's watching it right now, what would you say to that veteran about why it's so important, why they should come on a trip like this?
Probably would share the story of several guys have come up to us when we get home and say, "Thank you. I didn't want to go, but 50 years, 60 years of anger and hate and just feeling bad about how the war ended and how we were treated, it's gone. It melts away. That can happen to you." And that usually it resonates very well and helps get them to consider coming. It's an emotional day for them, so.
What about you, Derek?
I'm just thinking, when I was a part of the trip, to see that those individuals could be honored and appreciated meant a lot, because they didn't feel appreciated until after that honor flight.
Yeah, they came up to me and said, "I'm so glad I came on this trip."
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Or we say, go talk to one of your fellow veterans who've been there.
And the friendships form on that trip. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. And you can see our trip to D.C. and other stories in our special tonight, Veterans Voices, at 7.